Okay, so we are live?
Yes.
Yes, we are. Hi, guys. Can you hear me, Heidi?
Yes, I can. And there's no feedback this time.
There is no feedback. Fantastic. I'm so pleased.
Just sharing it with my audience too, so everyone who is interested can join us.
Very
All
good.
right.
So I do have a feedback, unfortunately, but I'm glad you don't.
Is it?
Yeah, it is coming back to me. Never mind. I will put just one headphone in and I will be so focused. So welcome everyone. And what I wanna say is that I'm very exciting because today I've got with me Heidi. I'm not feeling alone. You know how I'm streaming always all alone. And today I've got my Heidi here. Heidi is a dear friend of mine of 10 years, right? 10 years ago.
Yep, 10 years.
We spent amazing time together studying yoga and meditation, Ayurveda, and all sorts of amazing things in India, in Goa. And Heidi and we caught up recently and we realized we have so much in common. So let me introduce you to Heidi. Heidi is passionate about teaching people about regenerative health principles. And today we are going to talk about how these principles, well, first of all, Heidi will be talking about what is it, because I don't know. I'm just learning together with my friend here. So she's going to tell us about what it is and, more importantly, how we can make it very simple and very easy to implement in our lives and what it actually does. Is that correct, Heidi?
That is correct.
Say?
Yes.
Good. Yes. So first of all, I will just really briefly introduce myself as well. My name is Lucia Hoxa. I'm a fertility coach and I'm supporting women on their journey towards motherhood because my aim is for them to experience what I experienced after 11 years of my journey towards motherhood, which is I want them to hold their baby in their arms because it is the most beautiful thing that can happen to any woman. And yeah, that's what I do. I woke up at midnight today to create for you. So I would say I'm also passionate, Heidi. So two passionate people meeting each other. And thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Hopefully today we will offer you plenty of value. And I will also ask Heidi if she will be so keen to check on a Facebook. If we have any comments, Heidi, I forgot to say this, you know, let's make this interactive. Let's make this fun. Let's make this useful time for you guys that are watching us. And again, thank you very much for coming.
Okay. All right.
So I will ask Heidi, what is regenerative health? Maybe let's start with that. And you know, what is your why for what you do?
All right. So thank you so much, Lucia, for the beautiful introduction. And it's so exciting for me as well to be here with you. And yeah, it's just beautiful how life works, that our paths have once again crossed in such a beautiful way. And so I'm really excited to have this conversation, looking forward to this conversation with you. Thanks for having me. So yes, so regenerative health is a philosophy or theory of nutrition, is what I like to say, because nutrition is such a big wide world and there's so many different approaches. So this is one approach that I've really have found very powerful, not just in my own body, but in thousands of people and a lot of people that I know personally. Just the transformation that has happened has been so profound that for me, I've decided that this is the direction I want to take. And this is what I want to spend my time and energy sharing with people, because I really do believe in this approach to nutrition. So all it is the idea that we are actually capable of supporting our bodies, increasing our levels of health through the use of real, whole, organic foods, fruits and vegetables, and herbs. And that's it. And it's a very simple approach. to health and nutrition. And so my why for doing this and for devoting my time and energy to this and to have these types of conversations is because I really, truly, genuinely just want people to be able to take control of their health, to take their health back into their own hands, and realize that it's actually quite easy to feel better in our bodies. And that it's just really simple. And it's actually, I feel that with our modern day living and with, the media and the marketing and all of the things that, comes with this modern life, we've gotten a little bit disconnected. We've gotten a little bit lost about what it means to eat well and be well, and how food really is our, food is thy medicine. That is like the foundation of being a human being. And I just want to help shine light back onto these philosophies, and just empower people to feel that it really is easy, that they can do this. Anyone can do this. You all can do this. And it's enjoyable and it's delicious. And you can, you have the possibility of feeling better than you felt in a really long time, if not possibly your whole life. So
beautiful, beautiful. And we have a lot of viewers and lady viewers who will be watching us, who are on their journey towards motherhood, on their fertility journey. And so I just say a little bit about, so I approach supporting these women from the point of view, like, of their mindset, right? Which is also very, very important. I'm so excited that we are talking, because you are a specialist in nutrition. And I know, during my journey towards the motherhood, I was also, especially at the beginning, I was looking at, what to eat, what not to eat. And it can be very overwhelming, because when you go on Google, there's all sorts of stuff, right? And all sorts of people are trying to sell all sorts of things.
yes.
And then another type of people are saying how other things are so dangerous. And, so people can really get lost and actually overwhelmed, especially when they care about something so much. For me, at the end, it just came to the moment where I tuned in my body and I started listening about how I feel when I eat certain things. So I stopped Googling, and I started listening to what makes me feel alive, what makes me feel vibrant, what makes me feel happy. What brings me to the fridge. But then it was moments when it was like, let's face it, that when you have something that you want so much in your life and it's not happening, you often don't feel like strawberries. Are you with me, guys? You just feel like you want to emotionally eat and stuff whatever in your body, because what the hell is not happening anyway. So what would be so useful, Heidi, for all of us, I think, including me, I still have the moments where I go in the fridge and like, I need food, I need something, reward. And I very few times, I think, well, never, let me admit to this, I think about reward like some delicious something, blah. So let me ask you what everybody probably would ask you on this platform, like, how can we make it, how, if maybe share from yourself. I would love the answer to this. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. And it's really powerful what you're saying as well, of just starting to listen to our own bodies. Like, that is a huge step in the right direction. Like, you've really hit the nail on the head about what's so important. So thank you for saying that and for having that own revelation within your own journey. And cravings are crazy. Cravings are very powerful. Actually, what I really like to share about cravings is, I was listening, oh goodness, I'm going to forget exactly which specialist was talking about this. So I'm not even going to say anybody's name because I'll mess it up. But I was listening to something recently, and they were talking about how, I think maybe not, but there's a lot more discussion around the gut microbiome. So the gut microbiome is the collection of, little bacteria and little, things that exist in our stomach and intestinal tract, which is totally normal and natural. And they change, like this, microbiome, it changes based on like, the environment that we're in, our emotions, our hormones, and also very much responding to what we eat and what we put into our bodies, and also what we put onto our skin. And so when we change the way that we eat, we actually can starve out the bad bacteria and the bad, the bad little creatures, if you want to think of it that way. We can actually starve them out and replace them and encourage the growth of the good bacteria that is going to crave and want healthier foods. And so there is a period of, during detoxification, during cleansing and stuff like that, you will have a period of what we call die off. So your cravings might come back stronger, because as they're dying off, they're saying, no, feed me the French fries, or feed me the ice cream, or feed me, a lot of it, the time it's sugar. They're like, I just want that like processed, refined sugar, because that's what they really thrive off of. So when they start being starved out, they start sending signals to our brain, because what more and more science is proving is that our guts are so closely related to the brain and the hormones and the chemicals and our neurochemicals.
Yes, Heidi, can I just say quickly something? It's so great you are saying it, because recently I'm not expert in this, but what caught my attention is that recently experts actually found out a real, like, tangible connection between our brain and our gut. And to me, this is absolutely fascinating. That's one thing I wanted to say, and just to support your statement, what you've been saying, like, first we need to starve them out, the little little, what do we call them for the fun factor?
Little bad creatures, I don't know.
little creatures in our tummy. Yeah. So and what I loved when I done my detoxes in the past is that visual of aquarium. Like it's like a lot of big part of our body is water, right? And it's like replacing the water in aquarium. Like, for those of you who got a fish at home, you know how important it is to do this on regular basis. And it makes sense, right? And Mother Nature always teaches us how, is the best teacher. So it makes a lot of sense to like start this process, right? You first replace the water, and to do that, like, you need to, pull the brakes. So how this process, Heidi, actually works? Is it drastic, or is it actually bearable? Tell us.
It's actually very easy. You will have some cravings, but the exciting part is that once you just ride out, I mean, the die-off period, or that period of time where your cravings may increase, it's quite short. It depends for each person. There's no like set rule of thumb for, it's going to last specifically 2 days, but it can last anywhere from like 1 day, 2 days, a week, maybe a couple weeks, depending on what we're dealing with, what your starting point is. But once you can ride that part out and you really start flooding your body with all of the nutrients that it really needs, the micronutrients that it's been craving, because that's really what's been happening. And as we were saying, you're cleaning out your gut, you're cleaning out your body. Those cravings for the bad stuff goes away, and you're free. And it's just the most liberating experience to finally just not feel so imprisoned by these food cravings, and knowing, like, because all of us know when we're reaching for that tub of ice cream, or we're reaching for that frozen pizza, we know we're like, oh, okay, I shouldn't be doing this, but I can't stop myself, because this is like,
it's like forever this war inside you.
Yes.
And it costs us so much energy, like should off, shouldn't off, should off, shouldn't off. It was interesting, like when I was pregnant, sorry, I've got a feedback, so I'm just going to do this. When I was pregnant, I had a natural pull to eat great stuff. And I think and I was surprised, because I never had that in my life. I'm very honest with you guys. Like, I always chose chocolate over strawberry, but when I was pregnant, and you probably know, most of you, I was double pregnant. So everything was double, including cravings. But I had amazing cravings. I was like, oh, please give me apple. Give me, it was waves of apple time and orange times. And it was berries of all sorts. And I was like shocked. I was like, this is not me. This is my kids wanting this. And it's like, great. I wanted to continue. I gave birth, it stops. but what I also get is that, and this is where it's so perfect we are talking to each other and hopefully giving a lot of value to people, is that when I'm happy, I make a happy choices, you know, and I was very happy pregnant woman. Yeah. And I was absolutely in love with myself, and obviously in love with my body, because there were two beautiful creatures. So, you know, for my women on a fertility journey, what I kind of had a reflection on is like, why do I only love, you know, no, like, why do I wait to get pregnant to love myself to that level? You know, and this is maybe one of the takeaways, guys, you know, like, to be in inquiry, like, maybe we don't need anything, but maybe an idea is to love ourselves even more when we, I don't know, when we don't feel great, when we make a mistake, when we had an argument with our colleague at work, you know, and and that goes with the food choices. That goes with everything we do for ourselves, and food is a big part of it. So thank you so much for mentioning it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that you were craving so many different fruits during your pregnancy, because that's a huge foundation of regenerative health is fruit, actually. So fruits are the body's natural cleansers. They also are our body's most best. Water, just plain water, is very hydrating, but fruits are also extremely hydrating because they also provide these like minerals and like oh goodness, I'm forgetting the word, electrolytes that the body needs. And it's all natural. They're just like perfectly formulated things that grow on this planet that are there for us to consume. And then they help put our bodies into an alkaline state, which is actually really important during pregnancy. So it makes sense, especially since you were pregnant with twins, your body like did not have any other option than to make sure that it was in an alkaline state, that it was that it was cleansing out whatever it needed to clean out so that it could provide a healthy and nourishing environment for your babies to grow while you were pregnant with them. So it's incredible when we start to listen to our bodies, as you were, that is like actually perfectly supporting this whole regenerative health philosophy that I'm really passionate about, because a lot of what we do is incorporating a lot more fruits into our diet. And on this note, for everybody who's listening, I just love to throw out this little fact that I think is so easy to change in our diets and that you can do starting today. Only have fruits on an empty stomach. A lot of us like to eat fruits as dessert or as an appetizer or even with our meal. And it's actually not good to do. It's not good for our digestion. It also doesn't allow our bodies to absorb all of the amazing things that are in fruit. Fruits digest extremely quickly. So it's really important to eat them on an empty stomach. So I just like to always like throw that out as a little like piece of knowledge that anyone can change starting today.
I love it. Tell us more what people don't talk about, Heidi. I think that would be so useful, please.
Well, this is a deep one. I think another thing that I would like to really address, especially in this conversation relating to fertility and pregnancy, is that there are a lot of things that are common, but that are not normal. So something that I've recently learned that I think is so interesting as I was setting up for this conversation is that swollen ankles and swollen feet, things that a lot of pregnant women get, especially towards the end of their pregnancy, we think is just normal. We're like, yeah, I'm pregnant, this is normal. My feet are now swollen, my ankles are extremely swollen. So this happens to a lot of women, and this actually isn't normal, and we don't need to experience this. This is actually just a sign of malnourishment and improper nourishment. And so with the help of I really like to use a lot of like high quality superfoods, but with a healthy diet, with the right cleansing foods, and our lymph system is able to cleanse correctly, our lymph can actually keep moving throughout pregnancy until the very end. And you actually shouldn't get any swollen feet or ankles or toes or any of that. That's actually not normal. Another thing that is often considered normal, but it's actually just common, is nausea during pregnancy and morning sickness in pregnancy. And what's actually happening there is that's our body's way of cleansing the body in a way. If your body, it's extremely interesting, because once a woman becomes pregnant, what's the most important, those, like, the body needs to be in such a healthy state of being to make sure that that embryo can survive and thrive and grow into a baby that can go, ideally until full term and then have a healthy birth. And so if the body is in a high state of acidosis, which a lot of us with the modern diet, with the modern way of living, a lot of us are in a state of acidosis, which means the body is very acidic instead of alkaline, which is where our bodies should be. And so when our bodies are extremely acidic and we become pregnant, the body needs to become alkaline. So what happens is you get morning sickness and your body is forcing you to throw up. It's forcing you to clean out.
It's almost like you are poisoned, right? And you need to get it out. I mean, it's a strong word, right?
But
it's kind of what is happening. Yeah.
Our foods can be poison to our bodies. A lot of processed foods, a lot of refined sugars, those are poisons to our body. It is a strong word, but
yeah,
it's true.
Can I ask you something, Heidi, which might be interesting for a lot of I'm guys trying to hear your voice, your listeners, and I'm trying to ask Heidi questions that I think you would love to ask her. Is a lot of my ladies going through or preparing for IVF process or fertility of some sort of fertility process, and I know I was fairly shocked with amount of water I was retaining. So what it does basically is a hormonal treatment, quite heavy hormonal treatment, and I actually put much more weight through this hormonal treatment or treatments, I had several of them, than in my pregnancy. And what was happening with my body, I was literally, piling up with weight, but it was like I felt like a water cushion, like there was a lot of weight everywhere in my body, and it looked like a fat, but it was also water. So I would like to ask you, like, how we can deal with that, because imagine, like, we, a lot of women going through this IVF treatment, and it's the chemicals, and you don't want to go during the IVF treatment. Once the embryo transfer, is probably not time to detox then, right? Because you don't want to give your system a shock. But is it good time, like, prior to that, and if to do some kind of detox, and if, then what would be the time scale you see, like how quickly our body can get into that the most optimal state, so we are ready for the baby.
That's a great
and
question.
Also, so that's one question, and also a question, sorry, how we can get rid of this excess weight and water in our body. So 2 questions there.
Yes, absolutely. No, this is really a great question. So the first thing I want to say is, for anyone who is having a hard time conceiving, I would really encourage both partners to do a period of cleansing and detoxing before they even consider IVF treatment and hormonal treatments. If they have the time, if they have, I don't like to make strict rules, but that would just be my personal advice to anyone, would be to, before you go, and because hormonal, and like you were saying, hormonal treatment, IVF treatment, that is very, very it's very hard on the body. It's great that exists. And I'm so grateful that, for women like you, that you were able to conceive thanks to this a beautiful technology that we've been able to create. I know that it allows so many people to have families. And so I'm not by any means like discrediting or saying this is a bad route to take. Like, if that is the only option you have, I'm so, we're all so thankful that this exists. But if there is, the possibility, I would recommend that before IVF treatment is considered, I would say that's like a last resort kind of option. And to encourage both parents, because I think a lot of focus is put on the mom, on the women, because we're the ones who carry the babies. But the father is 50% of the genetics, and not to say that, and I think that like the man's genetics and the women's genetics, like our state of being in both of our bodies, is extremely important when it comes to conception. So, it's interesting. We actually learned this, Lucia, and when we were in India, the Ayurvedic philosophy is they actually recommend that both parents cleanse their bodies for a year before they consider conceiving. So that's the Ayurvedic tradition. And, like I think it depends on like how much time people have, but I would recommend at least 6 months. If you can do a year, even better. At least 3 months, I like to say, because actually what's interesting, there is some scientists that have been showing that the eggs and the women and actually the sperm in the man, when they actually are released at the moment of conception, those are actually from 3 months ago. That it's 3 months ago that our bodies were like building up those cells to then become released. So whatever is going on in our life 3 months prior is actually what is going to be, transmitted during the moment of conception. So it's all, science gets really complicated. There's lots of different theories. But I think we can all agree that cleansing the body beforehand is really great. And, there's things that I could recommend. First of all, starting off with like high quality, nutrition. There's something that we really need to pay attention to is that a lot of the food that exists these days, even organic food, unfortunately is very depleted because our soils are very depleted. So there's actually not as many nutrients as there used to be in our fruits and vegetables and other foods. So that's why I really like to work with the high quality superfoods that I work with, because it's all grown in regenerative soils. But there's also regenerative farms that you can contact, try and like buy from farmers markets or direct from farmers, depending on where you live. So really focusing on the quality of food that you're putting into your body as well as what types of foods you're putting into your body. Really making sure that you're eating at least organic, if not even more than organic, because of the glyphosate. We don't have as much here in Europe, luckily, but anybody who's watching from the United States, glyphosate is everywhere, but it is in Europe. And that's extremely hard on the body and definitely affects our fertility.
Yeah. Heidi, if anybody is interested, you will put in the comments your email or some kind of contact if people want to ask you more, right?
Yes, absolutely. I will put a link to my email, my direct email. So if anyone has any questions or wants a free consultation, yes, I can connect to that. I'll also put my Instagram account if anybody wants to follow. I post recipes.
She's amazing. Like she's got please follow her on Instagram. I do, and I just love it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's fun. On Instagram, I like to share cooking because I think a lot of the stress comes like, well, okay, I want to eat healthy, but how? So my Instagram, I talk a lot about that and share a lot of really delicious and easy recipes that, fit into this philosophy. But to go back to the questions, I really want to make sure I answer it correctly. So before pregnancy, before IVF treatments, if you have the time, once again, try cleansing both partners. There are different things that you can use. Like I said, the high quality superfoods. Chlorella is really wonderful because it helps eliminate heavy metals from the body, which is important. And actually that would be really helpful during IVF treatments because there's a lot of additives and stuff that go into any sort of injection treatments. So that would actually be something you would obviously, talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to make this is all just, I'm just sharing my opinions and, this is not considered medical advice, but something you could consider is chlorella, and you could talk to your doctor about how to incorporate that either before, during, or after IVF treatments. But I do know chlorella would be excellent. Fulvic zeolite is another great heavy metal detoxifier. Also, something I always want to say is make sure that you really know your source of where you're getting these things from, because that is actually can backfire. If your chlorella is not coming from a clean source, it can actually do harm rather than good. So just always make sure you do your research. Don't just buy the chlorella because it's the cheapest. Like really look into where you're getting those products. And again, if you have any questions, I can point you in the right direction about sourcing these types of things.
I actually want to say, if I can add, guys, I've got a again really great evidence, and this is, I didn't need to Google it, and nobody can take it away from me, because it's when I was pregnant, when girls been in a stage of kicking, I was drinking, and it was really tasty for me as well. Still is, by the way, still is. I drink not chlorella, but the other one, the green
Spirulina?
one. Sorry, what was that?
Spirulina?
Not well, I don't know actually what it is. In my language, we call it yachme. If anyone can put a comment, maybe I can put a comment in English. I actually don't know how it's called in English, but it's greens, one of the greens, right? And when I drank that with water, my girls, when like literally 2 seconds after I drank it, they've been kicking like crazy, like with the happiness. And I felt like I feel so alive, and I drink it now, and my kids drink it. Like people don't believe, like they eat chlorella and, pills, and they drink, you know, this other green thing, I have to let you know, sorry guys, I don't know how it's called in English, but you know, it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, children really know the good stuff. I mean, you know, I must say, I'm not the kind of mom who is like no chocolate at all. Like I give them a little bit of chocolate, but I'm still giving them space to actually, you know, feel like I learned like what is good for me. So I love what you do and how you do it, Heidi. And I'm not going to take any more time because I want to ask you millions more questions, but I just wanted to say this, that it is about, you know, once we cleanse, we really can feel what is good for our body. And that's not just cleansing in terms of our body, but cleansing up here. That's what I do, you know, with women. Like when we take all the stuff that is in a way that is preventing us from having the kind of relationship with ourselves that is authentic, meaning you are absolutely your best friend and you are in love with who you are, and you accepting every piece of your body, every inch, and also the way you are and the way you are not, then we have a chance to fall in love, to profoundly reconnect with who we are. And then the food choices are very natural.
Yeah. And they work together hand in hand, because our food choices can affect our mental state of being. Our mental state of being affects our food choices. So the fact that you and I are having this conversation, it really is just so beautiful, because it really, they really affect one another in both ways. Like it's the chicken or the egg. I don't know which one comes first, but they both are definitely interwoven. Yes. So it's so powerful, and it's so powerful once we start changing our diet and seeing what's possible. It really just opens up our whole minds to, wow, okay, like this can really affect everything. It can affect what you eat, affects fertility. And we don't like to talk about it a lot, but it does. And we do have to have, you know, a level of detoxification and cleansing. Oh, and I wanted to answer your question earlier. The detoxification and cleansing program that I use in particular is really gentle, and you can actually do it at any point in your pregnancy, before, during, or after. Even while you're nursing, like everything that I use is so gentle. You eat the whole time. There are no calorie restrictions. There's no starving yourself. You're eating every couple hours. Like this is a really gentle way of detoxification. So again, you know, if you're doing IVF treatments, it's something you'd want to talk to your doctor about, because I'm not an expert on, you know, how it shouldn't affect negatively the IVF treatments. But again, when you're doing something as intense as that, it's always good to talk to your doctor. But it would just be a great way, as you were saying, when you were retaining water after your hormonal treatments, a great way to get rid of that water afterwards is to help support the lymph system, because the lymph system is what's going to help clean out the waste and clean out the extra water and clean everything out through the kidneys. So supporting your kidneys and then supporting the lymph system. So that's all something that, like, you know, for anybody who's interested, we can go deeper in on a one-on-one conversation. But that is the basis right there. The basic is to get rid of the water. You want to get those kidneys filtering and flushing out, so you can get the lymph system cleaning and flushing out as well. And that will help to remove the water retention after a hormonal treatment.
So is it like flushing out the stuff, like it's also drinking a lot of water, right? So is it like when we want to get rid of the water in our body, or, you know, excess fat, whatever we call it, both probably. I will ask like 3-year-old, you know, because I'm not an expert in these things, but, you know, from what I understand, it is that, yes, we need to flush it out and we need to change something. And that makes sense to me, right? Because if we keep on doing what we are doing in any area of our lives, we will only ever get what we already have.
Right. Exactly.
And that goes with food as well. So, and I'm really glad that you're also saying that it doesn't have to be drastic. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be, it actually can be something women can do even during their fertility treatment. So it's not, you know, it's not going to be like shock to the system. In actual fact, it's supporting the whole process. Can you, Heidi, now, again, I hear the answers, questions of my girls, like, you know, what do you do actually? How do you do it? Can you, I know, like, people can reach out to you later if they want to know more. And specifically, maybe there are some women with endometriosis, some women with specific things. But really, I mean, in general, is very helpful for the system. So please give us, can you give us like some kind of example of the day, like, you know, how they can make it really easy for themselves, even like busy moms to be.
Yeah,
Or women
exactly.
on that journey towards motherhood.
Yeah.
Which are moms to be.
A day in the life. Yes, absolutely. And thank you for saying, I mean, what I work with and what this whole philosophy, it's not just for fertility. It's not just for women. It's not just for anybody. Actually, this can address anything really, like anything that you've got going on that's imbalance in your system. You know, talk to me. I would love to help. So we address a lot, really anything that is going on in the body. But to bring it back to moms, so if someone was interested in working with me, what that would look like is we would have a, you know, one-on-one conversation about, so I could hear a little bit about what's going on, what symptoms that they're having, you know, just what their experience is like, what their goals are. And then we would create a customized program based on that. There is like a foundational program that is the basis for most of at least the first month when I work with people, that can be, you know, changed a little bit or added to or taken away from based on what each individual is going through. But essentially what it includes is high quality superfoods that can be used as either meal replacements or just adding them into your daily routine. And this is what's going to be providing micronutrient rich, high quality soil food or superfoods coming from rich nutrient rich soils. And so this is what's going to be flooding your body with all of the nutrients and minerals that your body's been, you know, that's been lacking, which is why a lot of us feel tired, exhausted, and we have these symptoms. It's just because we have improper nourishment. So the big foundation is starting to flood our body with these superfoods. There's also amino acids that are fantastic. They're extremely, they're like 98% bioavailable. They're extremely digestible. And amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. So actually when we eat protein, whether it's from animals or other things like that are just like, you know, protein, like tofu or animals or things like that, those are actually, our body needs to break that down into amino acids, because amino acids is what our body actually can use to do all of the functions of what we consider to be protein. So we actually provide these plant-based amino acids that are just ready to go. Our body can just utilize them. There's no byproducts. There's, you know, we don't have to do all this extra work.
Heidi, can I jump in?
Yeah.
Can you give me example of your day? Like you wake up in the morning, let's make this real, because you know, like a lot of things we can really read about. I mean, we know about amino acids, or we don't know, but we heard about it, you know, and it all makes sense. But what it is that, you know, I want to hear from you how we can really simply implement it. I'm sorry, I'm just going to be the voice of these women, because you know what is also in my head is that it's like, Heidi, but I'm so bloody busy, you know, like my life is too complicated, you know, I just want a simple something that is going to work beautifully, but please don't ask me to cook, or, you know, like, and I don't know what, anyway, like, can you give me the simple like tips? What would make a huge difference to implement? Like literally something like you wake up in the morning and you have a warm glass of water with the lemon, and then you have a bit of you know, just something real, how women can function, and make it really simple, because this is my promise to women. It can be simple. Heidi told us it can be simple.
All right, so I wake up, so this is what I do, and this is what I would recommend for most people, is I wake up in the morning and I do have a large glass of warm lemon water, and I take chlorella first thing, and I also take amino acids first thing. So that's going to help balance my hormones. That's going to help my body pull out any heavy metals. So those are the things that I start with. Then
when you say amino acids, what is it?
So that's what I was supplement. Yeah, it's a tablet. They're tablets. So it's just plant-based amino acids that have been compressed into tablets, which is what I was just explaining. So it's really easy for the body to digest. So I start with those in the morning. Like I said, it's great for hormonal balancing. It's also giving my body what it needs to do all of the functions. You know, amino acids support skin and brain, all sorts of things. If you think protein, that's what amino acids are. And so I once I get hungry, I will have some fruit by itself. So whatever fruit is in season and is local to me, and I will have as much fruit as I want. It's not just, we're not like, I think when people eat fruit, we often think, okay, I'm gonna have one apple, but then you're still hungry. So then you reach for something else. Well, no, just have another apple, or, it's just eat more fruit until you're not hungry anymore. And so I always like to remind people about that too. So I'll have fruit. And then once I get hungry again, then I'll have a smoothie, and I'll use one of our superfood blends, and I'll just have a smoothie. And sometimes I blend it with fruits, frozen fruits, fresh fruits, or sometimes with like almond milk or hemp milk. Sometimes I just have it with water and I just shake it up if I'm like really in a rush, or if I just don't feel like making a smoothie. And at that time, personally, which again, this is going to be individualized, it's going to be customized to each individual person. But personally, I take an immune support blend, which is just 6 whole food ingredients. And in that, you get zinc, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin C, and vitamin E. So I take that every day, especially during the winter season. I also take an adrenal support called Be Energetic, which again is just a handful of whole food ingredients. All of our vitamins and supplements are all just whole foods that have been dehydrated and put into capsules. There's nothing made in a lab, which I really also want to emphasize. When you're taking vitamins and supplements, really be sure about where they're coming from. It's best not to take anything that's like built in a lab, that is like a sort, because our bodies don't know what to do with that kind of stuff.
Heidi, can I be evil? Ask
sure,
you a question.
You want.
No, it's not evil. I'm just going to be, how do you call it? Again, the voice of us normal women. When do you eat proper food? What we call proper food?
Yeah. So in the morning I have, fruit is a proper food. So I have fruit in the morning, and then I have my smoothie, and then I'll have a real lunch, I guess, if you want to call it.
What is it?
Food. It depends, sometimes I really like, especially when it's cold out, I really like to make veggie curries. So I'll make like a Thai curry, veggie. It's like nice and warm with coconut milk and lots of vegetables and a Thai curry paste. Or sometimes I make sushi rolls, vegetarian sushi rolls with cauliflower as rice instead of.
Do you eat meat, Heidi? And if we eat meat, what meat do we eat?
Okay, so this is a tricky one. So while you're cleansing, we take out meats and fish. In the beginning of the cleanse, you can incorporate a little bit of like high quality, like free range organic chicken or wild caught salmon or like fresh eggs. Again, everything, you always want to look at where these things are coming from. But while we're getting deep into the cleanse, we do cut out all animal products because animal products are acid forming. This is a pretty controversial topic about meat because there are some nutritional philosophies that highlight animal products, but to stick with what I know and what I believe in, we're going to stick with the regenerative health principles. And in those principles, we do recommend minimizing meat. And if you do eat meat, to really use high quality meat. Red meats are pretty challenging on the body. They create a lot of acid. They're hard to digest. They create a lot of byproducts that our body has to figure out how to get rid of. So if you're already in a state of, malnourishment, your body's going to have a hard time processing that. It's really hard on the gut. So I always encourage people to, especially while they're cleansing, to cut out animal products. And then as your body heals, as time goes on and your body's like healing, you can reincorporate them, in moderation. But
I want to confirm this because I went through the cleanse. It was about half a year ago. I went through the cleanse that was really successful after my pregnancy, a few months after. And I used this technique like first couple of months. I was eating high quality chicken with a lot of vegetables and, obviously fruit and all the good stuff. And I wasn't hungry. Like for me, what we've been talking about, the beginning is a little bit challenging, but for me, it was like 4 days. That was it. So a lot of people suffer of like headaches and stuff. I didn't have that. So I don't think I was that dirty. But I was shocked how easy it is and how, the beginning of it was a little bit challenging, but then how very quickly it became really, I felt so much energy. I started feeling really great in that time. I think in a space of 3 months, I lost about 13 kilos and it just kept on going. And I was like, whoa, and my body was changing. It was great. I want to do it again. I actually want to just use it as a thing that I do maybe once or twice a year, just because it just made me feel so great. And I want to say one more thing, like what I discovered is the more cleansed we are in terms of our bodies, I don't know if you have it this way, I think you do, is that more I'm connecting with my soul and also with spiritual aspect of me. So
Absolutely.
interesting. You as a yoga teacher, you also understand and know this, right? And also, like when I'm working with my clients, there is a difference. When I mean, it's amazing because how I work, or like where I see the greatest results that I always get with my people is when it goes hand in hand, like it's like almost like coaching. I encourage them to have a regular practice of yoga and meditation as well, and nutrition that goes with it hand in hand. And also, like I noticed, like people who are already eating well are on the journey. It's so much easier to have results with them. So yeah, I just want to back up all these theories, and also say one thing is that Heidi is giving us some gold dust here, and some of it you knew, some of it hopefully it inspires you, and some of it it definitely inspires me, and some of it is maybe new. What is the most important thing? What I would say for women in general is that when we are on this journey, let's not panic about having a chocolate, please. Like I beg you, girls, like yes, let's be inspired to love ourselves and to nourish ourselves like the baby's already there. Yeah. And let's allow ourselves to feel and reconnect with ourselves and really, but please don't do what a lot of my clients did before they started working with me, like panicking about what to do and Googling and going on these millions of platforms and making themselves wrong for what they put in their body. Because Heidi, just to let you know, a lot of women come to me and it's like, oh, they feel guilt, a lot of guilt, like baby's not happening because I had an abortion when I was 18, or baby is not happening because it's punishment because I used to be a heavy smoker, or baby is not happening because I blah, yeah, used to put crap in my, used to drink alcohol or eat all this crap food. And it's not true. So I want to say, guys, yes, we are here to be inspired. So important. I just really need to say this. Yes, let's be inspired to live the best, the happiest, the healthiest life. But in case you haven't done it, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you are not going to be mom. It doesn't mean that you are doomed and gloomed because you done something wrong. Please, I just
Yeah.
wanted to answer and enter that, insert that. Sorry.
Yeah, no, and it's wonderful. And it's really good that you say that, because we really need to be gentle with ourselves and honor everything that we're already doing. And that's what I really like about the work that I do, is that it is very simple and we can customize this, like based on what you're capable of doing. Like just right now, what I can say for anybody who is like, okay, I want to do this, but I don't really know how to go about it. Drink more water, eat way more fruit than you already are, because most of us do not eat enough fruit, and eat it on an empty stomach. For example, replace your snacks with fruit. And if you still feel hungry after one apple, have two apples. If you're still hungry, have three apples. It's okay. If you want three oranges, have three oranges and make that your snack, and you will be satisfied and you will not get a sugar drop. Like you will be fine. And so that's another thing I want to incorporate. And then start filling your body with nutrient dense foods, whether it's superfoods, making yourself a smoothie every morning. Even if you still eat breakfast, like you don't need to replace your meals. Like these is just something you can incorporate into, do what you're already doing, keep eating however you're eating, and just start incorporating this into your diet. You don't need to make any other changes. If you could just add this in rather than thinking about taking stuff out, think about adding good stuff in. Yes. And your body will start to figure it out. Your cravings will change.
I love it. I love it that it can be gradual. It doesn't have to be like from, because a lot of us like from tomorrow, now New Year is coming, right? And everybody's like from 1st of January is like, I will be good. I will be good person. I will stop smoking. I will start drinking lots of water. But why? You know, we can do it gradually. It's actually so much more natural. And also what I wanted to say is that it dropped my mind now, but it's about harmony. It's about harmony. It's not about, you know, being perfect and putting all this pressure on ourselves, because it's counterproductive. You might be eating healthy stuff, but you know, like, you are going to put mentally so much pressure on yourself that is not going to be joyful journey. So what I would say is, whatever you do it, make it your, what I like to say is, be playful with it. You know, like when kids play with it, and I love what you do, and also your Instagram is so playful. I love how you do it, Heidi, because you make it look so easy and you really inspire us, and I thank you for that, because it doesn't have to be hard work. It can be really this amazing thing. And you know how I like to look at things also is that, you know, I wonder, when I done this cleanse, you know, when it was very successful, I was like, I wonder what is possible. Like, let's have a look, let's play. And it started working because I didn't put pressure on myself. I just done what my coach said to me to do, my health coach said to me to do, and I followed, and I really was a good student. But I didn't do it because I had to, and I had all that pressure and I had to get it right. But I was like, okay, I'm just going to trust, and I'm just going to follow. And I done that, and I done it with joy. I was inspired. And then when first, you know, whatever signs, and I started having first results, it was very encouraging. So I continued. And it was simple as that. And I didn't make it, it was very easy. You know, you know, those apples you eat, like what I would say, little tip for what works for me is that have them ready. You know, have the good food ready.
Yes.
So you can nibble on it. I think is very good, because, you know, if you are anything like me, when it's not ready, I'm like, I grab anything.
Yep.
So it's a little bit about preparation, but it's that easy. I mean, peel the apple in the morning and have them, those oranges, and just nibble as you're passing by. You know, my life is very busy. I can do it. Everybody can do it. Mom of twins. So anyway, I hope, guys, we gave you a lot of value. Heidi, I want to, before we wrap up, but we've got 2 minutes, tell us, what's your kind of, if you have a voice and if you can give advice to generations of people to come, like this is going to be recording from Heidi, what she wants to, the advice she gives to the world, what would you say? No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. Eat more fruit, drink more water, and just eat more simply. Just, you know, stay away from processed foods. There's nothing good in that. Like, it's dead food. It's just, there's nothing in there. Just eat what comes, you know, that is like natural. Just eat simply. And yeah, you'll be better off for it.
Yes. And things will start happening in your life, because, you know, from my perspective, like whether it's food or whether it's our mind, it's funny. Health, you know, Heidi is working with people on in a similar way. We mentioned it earlier, like cleaning their tummies. And, you know, that has an impact everywhere. And not just on your body, but the way you think, the clarity of your thought. I mean, it's got such a, you know, huge. And I do very similar thing with people's minds. You know, everything what doesn't belong there, everything what is in a way, I'm cleaning up here, right? And
Yeah.
and it's so powerful when we combine these two things together. And really, for me, journey towards motherhood was all about harmony and balance. And I'm so grateful, Heidi, that you've been here with me today to give this addition from nutrition perspective, because, you know, I send a message on a Facebook to my women. By the way, if you want to join us, we are Journey Towards Motherhood. It's a Facebook page where the love and support is present. We have a lot of babies now, but wonderful thing is that these women keep on supporting women still on their journey. So it's just really loving space, very safe space. I only admit people, well, women, it's only women who are on the journey towards motherhood, or the ones who been on a journey and supporting the others now, or people like Heidi who can contribute to us really from the space of heart. And yeah, so I would like to invite you there. I send also a link. So I send in the comments, we will put your link for people to contact you, Heidi. And I also put a link for our journey towards motherhood, where I would like to invite all of you who want nothing more than having a baby and have a great life. You know, like it says up here. Where is it? Up here?
Other side.
Life you love. Because that's about it. You know, my philosophy is not only about becoming mothers. My philosophy is about, you know, having life we love in all areas of our lives, in terms of relationship, health, vitality, you know, career, before the baby arrives. Because guess what? Then there are chances that it will really happen, and it might even happen naturally. And also, the chances are that you are going to be phenomenal mom that is going to have amazing journey as a mom as well. And I can talk about it some more some other time. Thank God for that. And I'm really grateful to be this mom of two beautiful girls. So Heidi, thank you so much for your time. And thank you for all of you who watched us. Any questions watching the replay, please let us know in the comments or send us a personal messages. We are here for you. I'm sure Heidi will be very, very happy to do so as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lucia. This has been wonderful to combine our specialties, combine our passions together. It's been beautiful. So thank you so much. And thank you. Yeah, as you said, thank you to everyone who's been watching, and happy to answer any questions. So please reach out. I'm here.
We love you guys. Have a great rest of the weekend, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Yes. Happy holidays. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.